There is a gold chain in a drawer somewhere in your house right now, knotted into a ball, snapped at one link, and it has been sitting there for about 7 years. Most people eventually throw that away. Here's what they do not know. Gold is at the highest price in recorded history, over $4,000 an ounce, up around 60% in a single year. And the knot did not remove a single gram from that chain. A damaged 14-karat chain contains exactly as much gold as a perfect one. So this is the video. 10 broken pieces of jewelry you should never throw away, counting up to the one that can be worth thousands, and the mistakes people make right before they sell. 3 questions decide every single item on this list. What is it made of? Is there a name on it? And is it cheaper to repair it, remake it, or sell it by weight? Get those 3 right and a drawer full of damage turns into money. Get them wrong and you throw away the most valuable thing in the room. Let us count them down. Number 10, the snapped chain. We start with the most common broken object in America and the simplest arithmetic in this entire video. A chain breaks at a link or a clasp fails, and from that moment it is functionally invisible. It goes in a drawer, it tangles with everything else in there, and eventually somebody clearing out a house sweeps the whole tangle into a bin. Here's what that tangle actually is. Gold does not care about shape. It does not care that the chain is in a knot, that a link is open, or that the clasp is missing. Its value is weight times, purity times, the market price, and none of those 3 numbers changed when it broke. So do the maths yourself before anybody offers you anything. Weigh it in grams. 14 karat is 58.5% pure gold. 18 karat is 75%. Multiply, then check the spot price per gram, which is public and free and updates every minute. Now you know the floor, and here's why that matters more than usual right now. Gold has moved so far in the last 2 years that a broken chain, which was worth $200 in scrap a few years ago, can be worth several times that today. The chain did not change. The market did. Number 9, the single earring, the most emotionally dismissed object on this list. You lose one, you keep the other for a while hoping it turns up, and then one day you accept it and throw it out. Do not. A single gold earring is still gold, and it is valued exactly the way the chain was, by weight and purity. A single stud with a diamond in it is a diamond plus metal. The pair is gone. The material is not. And there is a second life here that most people never consider, which is that a lone earring does not have to stay an earring. A single stud becomes a pendant with almost no work. A pair of mismatched singles can become a deliberately mismatched set, which is a real style now. A hoop becomes a charm. Here's the practical instruction, and it applies to the whole drawer. Do not sell singles one at a time. Gather every orphaned earring, every broken clasp, every scrap of gold in the house into one pile and weigh the pile. Small pieces feel worthless individually and add up to a real number collectively, and buyers know that even when sellers do not. Number 8, the ring that cannot be resized. Now the piece that a jeweler has already told you is finished, which is exactly why it feels safe to throw away. Some rings genuinely cannot be resized. Eternity bands set with stones all the way around have nowhere to cut. Rings with intricate patterning across the whole band cannot be sized without destroying the design. Tension settings rely on the exact spring of the metal, and a band worn paper thin at the bottom cannot be stretched, only rebuilt, so the ring stops being wearable. But it does not stop being gold with stones in it, and there are 3 separate values sitting in your hand. The metal by weight. The stones, which can be removed and reset into something you will actually wear, and in some cases, the design itself, if it is old or signed. The mistake is treating unwearable as worthless. Those are completely different words. Before you scrap a ring you cannot wear, ask one question at a jeweler. What would it cost to pull the stones and reset them? Very often that number is smaller than the value of what comes out. Number 7, dental gold and stray fragments. The strangest entry on this list and one of the most consistently thrown away, usually because people feel odd about it. Dental gold is real gold, typically alloyed in the range of 10 to 22 karat depending on the era and the work. Gold buyers deal with it routinely and it is a completely normal transaction. The same goes for the fragments that accumulate in the bottom of a jewelry box over decades. Broken mount pieces, half a clasp, a bent pin from a brooch, a jump ring, solder blobs. Individually, these look like debris. Together, they are a weighable quantity of precious metal, and they are the single most common thing that gets vacuumed out of a drawer when a house is cleared. The instruction is simple. Get a small container, put every metal fragment from the house into it, and weigh the whole thing before you decide anything. Nothing on this list is more frequently binned for being small. Number 6, the pearl strand that snapped. Now the failure that looks like a catastrophe and is one of the cheapest problems in this entire video to fix. A pearl necklace breaks, the strand scatters across the floor, and the owner sweeps up what they can find and puts it in an envelope. It feels destroyed, because the object no longer exists as an object. But look at what actually broke. Not the pearls, the silk. The pearls are exactly as they were, and the thing that failed is a piece of thread that is designed to be replaced periodically anyway, because silk stretches and weakens over time. Restringing is routine maintenance, not surgery, and the numbers are gentle. Restringing runs roughly $3 to $6 an inch, so a standard 16-inch strand comes in somewhere around $50 to $150 all in, including the silk and often a cleaning. If those pearls are genuine, that is a fraction of what the strand is worth. Which raises the obvious question, and I covered it in full in the video about telling real pearls from fake, so here's the short version. Look into the drill hole with a loop. Real nacre shows layers going down into the hole. An imitation shows an edge where the coating stops and the core begins. One extra thing while they are loose. Count them and photograph them, because if the strand was knotted between each pearl, you probably lost none, and if it was not, you may be missing several. Knowing that before you go to a jeweler changes the conversation. Number 5, the watch with a cracked crystal. A watch takes a knock, the glass over the face cracks, and it goes into a drawer looking finished. Here's the thing to understand. On a watch, the crystal is a consumable. It is a piece of glass or synthetic sapphire sitting on top of the actual object, and replacing it is standard work that watchmakers do constantly. The movement, which is the watch, is usually completely untouched by a crack in the glass. So a cracked crystal is a cosmetic problem sitting on top of a mechanical object, and the mechanical object is where all the value lives. There is a second failure that looks identical and is not, and this is the one to act on today. A dead quartz watch with the battery still inside. Old batteries leak, and leaked electrolyte destroys the module from the inside and corrodes the contacts beyond repair. A watch that could have been revived becomes genuinely dead. So here is the instruction, and it costs nothing. Go through the drawers and take the battery out of every dead quartz watch you own, right now. That single action has saved more watches than any repair. Number 4, the ring with a missing stone. Now we cross into the pieces where the value stops being about metal, and this is the one people give up on fastest, because an empty setting looks so obviously ruined. 3 separate things are true about that ring. First, the mounting is still precious metal and still weighs what it weighed. Second, an empty setting is genuinely repairable, and replacing a stone is one of the most routine jobs in any workshop. Third, and most importantly, an empty prong setting on an older ring is very often not a broken object at all, it is an unfinished one, and there are buyers who specifically want antique mountings without stones. But here's the part that actually matters, and almost nobody does. Look for the stone before you decide anything. Stones that fall out of settings are found in vacuum bags, in car seats, in coat linings, in the bottom of handbags, and under furniture far more often than people expect, because they are small and they do not go far. A diamond that fell out last month is quite possibly still in your house. And if the stone is gone for good, get the mounting weighed and ask what resetting would cost before you conclude the ring is finished. On a decent piece, the answer is frequently less than the metal is worth. If this is already changing what you were about to bin, subscribe, because the last 3 are where the numbers stop being small. Number 3, the badly damaged piece with a significant center stone. Now the one where the object being destroyed is close to irrelevant. A ring gets crushed, a pendant gets crushed, a brooch is bent beyond recognition, the mounting is genuinely finished, and it looks like total loss. Here is the reframe. On any piece with a substantial center stone, the stone is usually most of the value, and the mounting is a small fraction of it. A diamond does not care that the metal around it was flattened. Its carat weight, color, clarity, and cut are all exactly what they were, because a diamond is the hardest material in jewelry, and crushing the gold around it does essentially nothing to it. So the destroyed object is a container. The contents are intact. 2 cautions, and they matter. Colored stones are not diamonds, and impact can genuinely damage them, so an emerald or an opal in a crushed mounting does need checking rather than assuming. And do not pry the stone out yourself. Removing a stone from a damaged setting is exactly where stones get chipped, and a chip is real value gone permanently. Take it to a bench, damaged, as it is. The metal gets weighed, the stone gets assessed, and you find out what you actually have. Number 2, the broken set that is missing a piece. Now a kind of damage that is not damage at all, and it costs people more than any crack or break in this video. A parure or a set, matching earrings and necklace, a brooch and its matching clips, a bracelet and its ring, is worth substantially more together than the sum of its parts. That is true across the whole market, and it is especially true for antique and signed pieces, where complete sets are genuinely rare because almost all of them got split up over a century. So here is the mistake, and it happens constantly during estate clearances. The set gets separated. One earring goes to one relative. The necklace goes to another. The brooch is sold on its own because it was the prettiest. And the moment the set is broken up, that premium disappears and it does not come back. The instruction is straightforward. Before anything leaves the house, look for matches. Do the earrings echo the necklace? Does the brooch have the same stones and the same construction as something else in the box? Is there a fitted case with impressions molded into the velvet? Because a case with an empty slot is telling you a piece is missing and worth hunting for. Never split a set to make a quick sale. That is the single most expensive form of throwing something away, because nothing looks broken while you do it. Number 1, the broken signed piece. And here it is. The one that can be worth thousands, and the one most likely to be in a bin bag by the end of a house clearance. Here's the entire principle. For everything else in this video, condition drives the value. For a signed piece, the signature drives the value and condition adjusts it. That is a completely different equation, and it is why a snapped Trifari brooch and a snapped unsigned brooch are not remotely the same object. Remember the numbers from the vintage videos. Signed Trifari trades between $600 and $5,000. A Chanel brass cuff from the 1980s sold at auction for just under $5,000. A single pair of Yves Saint Laurent clip-on earrings sold for $2,772. None of that value is in the material, because most of it is not precious metal at all. All of it is in the name, and a bent pin does not remove a name. And on top of that, damaged signed pieces have a market of their own, because collectors buy them for parts. A broken Trifari brooch supplies correct period stones, findings and components to restore other Trifari pieces, and correct original parts are hard to find, so the rule is absolute. Before anything broken leaves your house, turn it over and read the back. Trifari, Weiss, Eisenberg, Haskell, Coro, Chanel, Yves, Saint Laurent, Givenchy, Butler and Wilson, Kenneth J. Lane, Napier, Monet. If there is a name on a broken piece, it is not scrap. It is a signed piece that needs repair, and those are two completely different conversations. Now the bonus, and it is the part that decides whether you actually get the value we just discussed. 5 things not to do before you sell. 1. Do not clean anything. This is the big one. Aggressive polishing softens edges, wears through plating, and rounds off hallmarks and signatures, and on antique silver, tarnish is evidence of age rather than damage. You are not tidying up. You are erasing the exact features that prove what you have. 2. Do not repair anything before valuing it. This feels helpful and works against you. A repair done cheaply can reduce the value of an antique piece, and worse, some pieces are worth more untouched. Get the number first, then decide about the repair. 3. Do not untangle, straighten, or force anything. Old metal is brittle, and bending it back frequently snaps it properly. If it is knotted, leave it knotted. Buyers who work by weight genuinely do not care. 4. Do not pry out stones. Every professional buyer accounts for stones separately anyway, and amateur removal is where stones get chipped and settings get destroyed. 5. Do not sort it yourself. People throw away the small bits, the fragments, the pieces that look like nothing, and those are frequently the ones that carry the marks. Bring the whole box. And the last practical thing, which is where the actual money is made or lost, where you sell matters enormously. Different buyers pay wildly different percentages of the same metal value for the identical broken chain. Walk-in gold buyers and quick cash operations sit at the low end, and dedicated refiners and specialists sit far higher, and the gap between them on the same handful of scrap can be hundreds of dollars. So never accept the first offer, and never accept any offer before you have done the weight arithmetic yourself. A buyer who knows you have done the maths behaves differently from one who knows you have not. Now the honest note, because I do not want to send you off with the wrong idea. Most broken jewelry is worth its metal and nothing more, and if there is no precious metal in it, plated costume pieces with no signature genuinely are worth very little. That is not pessimism, it is arithmetic, and this video is not promising that your drawer is full of treasure. What it promises is this: the cost of checking is nothing, and the cost of being wrong in the other direction is everything. Throwing away a signed brooch because the pin snapped, or binning a tangle of gold because it looked like rubbish, is a mistake you never find out you made. So do the sweep. Gather every broken piece in the house into one box. Turn each one over and look for a stamp and a name. Take the battery out of anything electronic. Look for the missing stone. And then take the box, unsorted and uncleaned, to a good independent jeweler, the same answer this channel gives every week, because they will weigh it in front of you, read the marks while you watch, and tell you honestly which pieces deserve a specialist instead. Now tell me in the comments what you found in the bottom of the drawer, the tangle of chain, the single earring you kept for years, the brooch with the snapped pin and a name on the back. I read every one, and the best finds on this channel always come out of the comments. This channel takes no sponsorships and no paid placements. No brand, no dealer, and no gold buyer pays to be praised or buried here. And that independence is the only reason I can tell you that the counter offering you fast cash for a bag of broken gold may be paying you a fraction of what the same bag is worth elsewhere. If straight answers like this are why you keep coming back, the join button below makes you a member and keeps these breakdowns honest. Broken is not the same as worthless. Turn it over before you throw it out. I will see you in the next one.